Feedback. I'm Mark Despotakis. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We're talking about that coming up tonight on Feedback. Good evening and welcome to this Tuesday night edition of Feedback. I'm Mark Despotakis. As I said, April coming up here just around the corner is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Lou Ann Williams, the Executive Director of Passages, is here with us tonight. We're going to talk about what Passages is and some things that you guys do coming up later in the program, and also just some information that might help you or help someone you know who has been in a situation that Passages may be able to assist with. So that's coming up later on the show. But first I want to talk about something, as you know, is my my duty every once in a while. I find something silly in the paper, share it with you. Well, the top of the fold, front page, USA Today this morning. Are they relaxed yet? Jersey town to find out tonight. I'm just going to read directly from this USA Today article. No homework, no practice, no clarinet lessons. No math league, no soccer, no SAT sessions, no swim meet, no scout meet, no learning to sing. None of their usual scheduled things. Not tonight, anyway. Not in the town known for affluent, competitive, accomplished parents and children. Here's what's happening. It took a committee of 18 people, 7 months, and 6 meetings to plan this evening. But this town of Ridgewood, New Jersey, is taking the night off, basically. This is what their goal is. They're calling it Ridgewood Family Night, and it's been subtitled Ready, Set, Relax. They've designed this evening. It took 18 people, 7 months, and 6 meetings to plan one evening of canceling, you know, the soccer practice and all that stuff. So basically, want everyone to come together and kind of like have a family night thing. Well, it doesn't look like it's all going to work out, actually, because the high school is having a college admissions person come in, and they said, we can't reschedule this, you know. The quote from the Reverend in the town is, let's plan a night where nothing is planned. Does anyone else find this absolutely absurd that we're planning a night when we should just be, everybody stays home? And I saw, someone else said today, one of the people who was the organizer of this, said, well, we're not doing this. We don't want this just everyone to come together and have their family night of doing something. That's not what our specific goal is here. We just want people to relax. The family doesn't necessarily have to do anything because, in fact, some people in the town were saying, well, let's have a competition for whoever has the best family activity. Does this all seem just absolutely absurd? What is going on that this is what we've come to? We're planning a night that everyone's going to stop in this town and sit down and relax. I think it is silly. I just saw this here. School officials promised homework amnesty, sports teams canceled games and practices, churches called off evening classes. So I'm very curious to see what the follow-up to this is going to be. I'd like to see if there's any stories on this tomorrow. What in the world is going on in this country that now we're so busy that we have to plan a night not to be busy, and it takes 7 months to plan one night not to be busy? I hope you don't have to do that in your life. It doesn't take 7 months to find one night. So I just thought I'd pass that along to you. All right, moving on to something of a more serious nature. As I said, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We are going to be talking about that tonight. Stay with us. When we come back, Lou Ann Williams from Passages joins us.
Brought to you by the Clarion Bowl Arena, located on Route 322, 1 mile east of Clarion. Bowl Arena offers rock and bowl every Friday and Saturday night, and a game room with 8 pool tables and arcade games. Bowl Arena also offers bumper bowling for kids' birthdays and league play for adults. Call 764-3471. Again, that's 764-3471.
What is a hero? Are heroes born, or are they made? In after-school programs, your kids will uncover hidden strengths, discover they have the power to change their future, and find the hero inside themselves. Let us know you on after-school programs in your area. Call 1-800-USA-LEARN. After-school programs, helping kids find the hero within.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by the Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant. The Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant is located at 540 Main Street in Clarion and offers dining as well as a nightclub. The restaurant and nightclub are open 7 days a week for your convenience. Call the Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant, 226-8400.
I'm the best thing you ever had. Only things I'm guilty of, giving you too much love, making you crazy, making you rap, making me fall, making me suspect. Seem to think I'm playing her game. Don't you know her? This is me.
There's a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
You're watching TV5 with Zeta Tau Alpha.
Welcome back to Feedback this Tuesday evening. As I said, April Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Lou Ann Williams from Passages is joining us, and it's wonderful to have you back.
Thank you.
You were one of my very first guests
I believe
on the program, and now here I am on my way out. This is like, I think there's like 8 shows left, so it's good to have you back.
Nice to
near
be
the
back.
end.
Nice to be back.
So you're from Passages,
Yes.
and that's an acronym. So tell us
Absolutely.
what Passages is, what the acronym means.
Okay.
What are you all about?
Okay. Passages stands for Prevention and Service for Sexual Assault Through Guidance, Empowerment, and Support, which is a very fancy name for a rape crisis center.
Okay.
We made the name change a while ago because rape crisis didn't really explain everything that we do. We have obviously a 24-hour crisis hotline. We can go with people to the hospital if they need to do that. We can go with them through court if they need to do that. But we do a lot of other things. We have support for family members, people that are having a hard time handling what's happened to somebody that they care about, and we do a lot of prevention programming. To give you an idea of the difference, last year in Clarion County we saw 222 people in a counseling type setting, but we saw over almost 6,000 people through prevention programming. 5,000 of those would be school students. So we're really proud of that effort. What we're in essence trying to do is remove the need for our services by making people aware of what is happening and how to get help and how to talk about it. Maybe someday we won't be as busy as we are.
Right. Sexual Assault Awareness Month. What all comes with that? I mean, we had a story on the news here tonight. County commissioners have approved that April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Clarion County. What all comes with that from your end?
Well, actually, it's a statewide event. And in Pennsylvania, it's coordinated by the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Rape, which is our primary funding source, but we also belong to their board and help kind of shape the way anti-sexual violence services are provided in the state of Pennsylvania. We all have these nifty little teal ribbons.
And I have one as well that you gave me this evening.
And the purpose, like any other ribbon, is to have people say, what's that for? What's that color? It's just to remind people that sexual assault does happen. To devote a month where we'll be doing a lot more public service announcements. We'll be having some events that we hope people attend. Just to remind people that Passages is here, that we provide free service, and that we want to help.
Right. Why don't you take the opportunity here to plug some of those events?
Okay.
What are some of the events we can look forward to in April?
We have a couple of things actually happening on campus. I don't have details yet because we're still in the planning stages, but we've been working with the Pan-Hellenic Council to plan a Take Back the Night rally on campus. Take Back the Night was started in the early 70s as a way of having some type of recognition that the night isn't dangerous, that it's designed for women to take back the night. What we know now is that the majority of sexual assaults are among people that know each other. 85 to 90% of the time, the victim is very well acquainted with the perpetrator. So Take Back the Night isn't exactly as much of an explanation as it used to be. These things happen in the victims' homes, victims' car, with people that they know on more than a speaking basis. So we have that on April 23rd, somewhere on campus. I don't have details yet. On April 24th, the local Crime Victims Task Force will have their second annual Victims Rally from noon to 1 in the Memorial Park across from the courthouse. And Dr. Mary Hardwick is coming back to campus and doing a Reclaiming Intergenerational Women's Wit and Wisdom, a work in progress, and that's on April 13th and 14th. And it's co-sponsored by Passages and the Women's Studies program here in the university. We'll also have displays in the libraries. We hope to see a lot of people running around with their pins on, articles in the newspapers, that type of thing.
And there's also a CD out.
Yes.
Want to explain what this is?
This was developed by the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Rape. All of the artists are from the Pennsylvania area. They have all created projects just for this CD. All of the songs talk about anti-sexual violence, preventing it, dealing with the feelings that victims have after the event. And we have these for free. Anybody that wants one, all you have to do is call our office at 226-7273, and we can make sure that you get a CD.
And this is a statewide thing?
Yes, it is.
That's stop by there. And you were telling me before that there's a video to one of these as well.
There is a video to the title track on the CD is Gonna Make It, and we have produced a MTV-style video, which we're hoping MTV will actually air at some point. They are considering it, which is really very special.
Well, we'll air it.
It's kind of interesting that Pennsylvania is at the forefront of the anti-sexual violence movement.
Yeah, interesting observation.
We are the oldest coalition in the nation, and right now the National Sexual Violence Resource Center is a project of the state of Pennsylvania.
Why might that be that Pennsylvania seems to be in the forefront?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
Or is there a statistical reason?
No. No. I think just that in the early 70s, mid-70s, the women that were involved in this were very passionate about it, and the state of Pennsylvania has a work ethic, and they tied into that. We're the only state that has a rape crisis center in every county. A lot of very large states have 2 or 3 to serve the entire state. So it's horrible to say, but if you're a victim of sexual assault, the best place to live is Pennsylvania. There's more free service available.
Services that you guys offer, I mean, I think the biggest thing is this 24-hour hotline you have. Staffing, how do you staff that? How does that work? Because I was reading on the website today something that everyone who works for you, everyone who's a volunteer for you, has to go through training and
40 hours of training. 40 hours of training. The reason for that is that in the state of Pennsylvania, there's also a confidentiality statute, which says that I, having completed the 40 hours, you can tell me anything that's happened to you, and I can't be compelled to share that information unless you give me written permission. So everybody that answers our hotline has to have that training. We rely heavily on the university for volunteers. We have some volunteers from the community as well, but mostly from the university. And how do we staff it? Strictly volunteers. It's answered in the office from 8:30 to 4:30. After that, it's all volunteers.
And you have enough people?
We have enough people. We can always use more.
Of course, but that's, I mean, that's fantastic that it's...
Yeah, our volunteers are very committed. They carry our pager a week at a time, which is a large amount of time to devote, because you're basically on call 16 hours a day, and on weekends, 24 hours a day. But people do that.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a break here, but when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the stigma that is placed on rape. So we're going to talk about that when we come back on Feedback. Stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
I wasn't going to school because I was making money stealing cars.
Well, I was 10 when I first got involved with drugs. I skipped school because, you know, nobody cared.
When I first got pregnant, school was not important to me, so I dropped out.
Well, if I don't finish school, then I can't go to college. I mean, that's the whole point of what I want to do with my life.
I still need to go to school to make it for myself.
I think I'm happier now. I know I'm happier now.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by Fox's Pizza Den, Fox's Pizza Den is located on Old Route 66 in Clarion and offers all-day delivery. Phone 226-5555. That's 226-5555. Fox's Pizza Den is open 7 days a week for your convenience. Phone 226-5555.
You know, we sing for millions of girls, but helping out in schools, that's the real deal, baby.
I know our love can multiply.
I'm the cute one, you know what I'm saying? Have you ever been backstage before?
'Cause you're the excel.
I think you'll find that gravity is key in what I do.
Once was one, but now we're two.
I'm spinning out of control.
Oh. This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant from Clarion Hospital. Clarion Hospital is located off of Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Clarion Hospital offers outpatient services, transitional care, as well as an emergency room open around the clock every day of the year. More than 400 employees and 80 physicians work to serve the community. Call the Clarion Hospital at 226-9500. Clarion Hospital, providing health care to Clarion County and surrounding communities since 1954. Oh. Welcome back to Feedback. As we said, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Luann Williams from Passages is here, and we're talking about this, obviously, sexual assault, and that certainly covers rape. And I want to talk to you, get your feedback on the idea. There seems to be this stigma around the term rape, even, and I was just saying to you during the break. You know, if my house is robbed, my name is put in the paper and my house was robbed. But if I'm raped, there's a stigma put on that. If I'm burglarized, there's not a stigma placed on me. But if I'm raped, there is. I don't know if I want to say why, because I think I know why, but yeah, where does that come from?
A lot of it comes from our culture's tendency to blame the victim. Women who are sexually assaulted are sometimes painted as asking for it because of behaviors that they were engaging in, because of certain ways that they dressed. They're seen as temptresses. I can't even say the word.
Temptresses.
There you go. And my belief, and you know, someday I'll grow up and write a book on this, is that it's a fundamental belief by our culture that it's easier to blame the victim than to say, you know what, our culture has a problem. And we're seeing things a lot differently, because there's absolutely nothing that a person can do that warrants being raped. Absolutely nothing. I mean, nothing calls for that type of behavior. It's a war crime, for crying out loud. And a lot of the reasons that there is so much of a stigma is because if you talk about it, then you have to realize that it can happen to you. It can happen to me. What we know is that 1 in 4 women and 1 in 6 men have a sexual assault experience during their life. That's a lot of people walking around. And about 30% of them have told somebody.
Well, that's I'm glad you said that statistic right there. 30% of people, so there's 70% of people that may not be coming forward because there is the stigma.
Absolutely.
That must be one of the most frustrating things for you. How do you, I mean, how do you get that across? Obviously, we can't go up to every person in the world and say, have you been sexually assaulted?
I know.
How
do you get that across?
How do you do that?
By repeatedly putting the message out there that it isn't the victim's fault, and that it's okay to talk about. I heard a really good analogy the other day. A man was traveling in the Amazon, and he came upon a village where a lot of people had arms missing or had parts of their face gone. And he asked somebody, and they said, shh, we don't talk about that. So finally, he went to the neighboring village and said, what's going on here? These people have arms missing. They have parts of their face missing, and all people will say is, we don't talk about it. And the answer was that there are crocodiles in the river, and they come up and they eat people, or they maim people. But it's not polite in that culture to talk about crocodiles. So rather than talk about the crocodiles, we have people walking around with wounds. And I think the application of sexual assault applies. It's not a comfortable subject to talk about. We changed our name because people weren't comfortable with the words rape crisis being on a door. We never had a sign until we changed our name to Passages. It's not something that people are comfortable talking about. And I think the main reason is because if you talk about it, you have to understand that it can happen to you too.
But
is that deep enough for you?
I mean, I think it's absolutely correct, but I can't get past the idea of, I mean, I understand that it's a societal thing, but I have a problem with, why is this different than somebody robbed my house?
Because your father probably didn't rob your house. Your boyfriend probably didn't rob your house. Your mother probably didn't rob your house. It's probably somebody that you don't know, that you're never going to have to see again.
And that's why it's harder to say.
What does it do to Thanksgiving?
That's true.
If Uncle whoever hurt his niece, what do you say at Thanksgiving when the uncle's not there?
So what can you tell these people? What can you tell someone who it's been a father, or it's been a mother, or it's been a boyfriend, someone that that is so close to you, and then they go and do this, and you put so much trust in a person, and this happens. What can you say to someone?
What can you say to them? You talk about the fact that it wasn't their fault. You talk about the fact that they need to work through their feelings. There's a lot of controversy about forgiveness. Sometimes people need to forgive for themselves to get through those feelings of anger. It's really, really tough to counsel somebody that's been through something like that. And that is the reason that we spend so much time doing prevention. We want people to know before the fact that it's okay to talk about this, and that you need to talk about this and share those feelings with somebody. Because if everybody does that, some of that stigma is going to be taken away, because we've started to talk about the crocodiles.
Is there anything that if you're in a relationship that you should be looking out for? I mean, I don't know if this is I don't know if there's an answer to this question, but as I was reading through your website, I really thought about this. You talk about the prevention and making the information known ahead of time. Is there anything that you should be watching out for? Are there tendencies that these type of people who happen to have, or is it just a surprise? Because, like I said,
no, it's not usually a surprise.
You put so much trust in someone, and then all of a sudden this would happen. Is there some warning sign?
Well, what we know is that rape and sexual assault are crimes of power and control. And if you're in a relationship with somebody that ultimately needs to have that power and control in all aspects of it, that's a red flag. If you're in a relationship with somebody that pressures you to do things that you don't want to, even if it's, and this sounds silly, but it can start with, well, I don't care what movie you want to see, we're going to go see this one because that's what I want to see. And what I need is more important. Those are things you need to look for. Power and control.
I remember when I first came to Clarion, there were two things I never heard. Rohypnol and GHB.
Yeah.
And I remember I was a panelist on a program here before I had this program, and I was in a round table about this, and I said, you guys got to educate me about this. I don't know what it is now. I mean, I've certainly heard about it. I haven't heard about it as much recently. Is that still a big problem, the whole idea of date rape drugs?
Right. We have done a lot of education about it. I do think that some people are being more careful, watching their drinks. One of the things that we have done in prevention programs is to give everybody a can of soda. And at some point during a break, we'll go around and put a sticker on it. And when you come back from break, you ask people, how many of you have a sticker on your soda? That's a Rohypnol. We've had some success. We actually got a call from a group of young women on campus who had been to one of our prevention programs, and they said, you know what, we went out and we all remembered to watch our drinks. And we don't know if anything wouldn't have happened, but we would have never thought about that before. No, it hasn't decreased, but the novelty's worn off. It's not as newsworthy because, everybody knows about it now. But yeah, it's still out there.
Well, we're almost out of time. Tell us, how people can contact you.
Our hotline number is 226-7273, or if you're outside of the 226 area, 800-793-3620.
And tell us about the CD again.
CD is called Expose. All of the songs are about anti-sexual violence, and if you want a free copy, call one of our numbers and we'll make sure you get it.
Okay, and I'm going to try to get the music video from you, and we're definitely going to air it here on this program. Luann Williams, thank you for joining us. Thanks for being part of the beginning and now toward the end of Feedback.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Stay with us. We'll be back on Feedback right after this.
Just one bite.
I don't like it.
This portion of programming is sponsored by Reese Brothers, located in Drake Square Building in Oil City. Reese Brothers offers a competitive hourly wage, plus daily bonuses, flexible scheduling, company-sponsored health benefits, and paid professional training. Call today at 1-800-365-3500, extension 684, or 677-9236 for your personal interview, or stop by and visit the Drake Square Building. Reese Brothers, where integrity and technology connect.
Hear the one about the rabbi and the reverend who like to party? A community coalition got them together with local restaurant owners. Now they host drug-free kids parties.
These guys know how to party.
It's just one example of what community coalitions can do. But it's not the only way to keep kids away from drugs. Visit helpyourcommunity.org to find out what your group can do. Because you get more
when you get together.
Wardrobe for some TV5 News staff provided by Fashion Bugs located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy or fashion for women, they have it all with many different styles. Fashion Bug also offers a wide selection of accessories. Fashion Bug is located in the Clarion Mall, just off exit 62 off Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 5.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us tonight. April Sexual Assault Awareness Month. I have it on my tie here. If you see me around, I'll be wearing this. Thanks to Luann. We are not on Thursday night because of coming up on the break here this weekend. Next Tuesday night is Clarion Borough Council, but next Thursday, Clarion University President Dr. Diane Reinhardt will be joining us. It's her last appearance on the show, and she's always fun to have on the program, so we'll be talking with her next Thursday evening. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week.